Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network, featuring St. Laz, who also hosts the popular web series Gem Pop and music journalist Mark Waldo Ward. They have discussions about hip-hop, culture, society, philosophy, and everything else. Now available on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts. What up, world? Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. It's your boy Mark Waldo Ward, St. Laz. How you doing today, brother?
It's good, my bros.
Shit, chilling. We gonna have a quick one. Well, I don't know if it's a quick one, but this is just one topic. Nas recently won a Grammy. You know, offline we politic. We don't particularly give a fuck about the Grammys, but of course we love Nas. Me personally, you know, I remember Nas being on the MC Serch jump. Like you said on either one of your Gem Pop episodes or one of our episodes, how you had him on the Zebrahead soundtrack with that was Halftime, right?
Facts.
Yeah, and I'd heard Halftime. And then I don't know how I got my hands on it because this was odd in DC. I think it was just on somebody taped that somebody had taped over and they left it. But I had that what was they called? Main Source. It was like live at the barbecue, and it was like, you know, if you get into the best Nas verses, and I can't even say the whole jump, but I remember it was like, kidnapped the president's wife without a plan, hanging like the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know, but like I remember and no, I'd never heard nobody rap like that at that time.
It's crazy that you say that because I came outside. Where was I? I forgot where I was at the other day, and as soon as I hopped out the car, somebody was blasting.
Verbal assassin, my architect pleases. When I was 12, I went to hell for killing Jesus. Yeah, snuffing Jesus. Yeah,
snuffing Jesus.
Kidnapped the president's wife without a plan. Plus, I'm hanging more than the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, man, that shit was just insane. And then on the MC Serch album, and I only copped that junk because it was at like discount mark for like $3.99 or some shit. And I saw Nas. I was like, that's that kid from the because it was I had that shit on like a TDK tape or some shit. And he had a verse on that MC Serch solo album that was pretty decent. And then like
real with you, when I was hearing his verse yesterday, like I told you, I heard somebody blasted his verse off for the Main Source album yesterday, and I could tell that son had a little bit of influence from, or maybe I'm wrong, but it sounded like he had a little bit of influence from that kid Hood who had got killed. You know what I'm talking about?
The kid that was on that.
He was on the Scenario remix. The dude who set off the Scenario remix, the dude who set it off, Hood.
Okay, the dude that everybody in DC be like, what happened to him? He was nice. I know exactly who you're talking about. I ain't never know his name though.
It was sounding like Nas had a little bit of, like he had a little bit of influence from Son at the time. You feel what I'm saying?
He was mad young though. Like he must have been like 15.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that record was recorded before. I'm not sure. Yeah, bro. But I mean, that's a story. I'm gonna get to the bottom of that Hood story. You heard? I'm gonna get whoever's listening to this. If you're connected to the dude Hood that was on the Scenario remix, and you know the story and what happened to him, and you could tell it without incriminating anybody. We don't do unsolved mysteries. You understand what I'm saying? Holla at me, man. We got to get that story. I need to know what happened to such a prolific MC, because not only was Son a dude who got killed in the game, and that's interesting, but Son was definitely way before his time spitting straight gangster rap, while dudes was still spitting, you know, different type of stuff. He was
nursery rhyme shit, yeah, or that.
Yeah, he was spitting that straight gangster. You feel me? So I would love to know who influenced him, where he was from, what happened with his case, in the whole 9 yards. So anybody who knows anything about Hood, squall at me, you heard?
That's what's up though. But so then back to Nas, you know, it built up the anticipation for what made. I mean, man, with an anticipation level like that, it's few people that deliver. But then he comes out with Illmatic, which many can still consider to be the best album ever. I don't know what I can say about that. No features, great production, vivid. I mean, I don't think it's the best album ever, but it's definitely one of the top 5 or 10 to me. I know every word of that shit, that's for sure.
Definitely a great album. Definitely.
Well, what are you like? You know, we ain't gonna sit here and go through them album by album. You know, after that, it was written. I kind of like it was written better, even though I know it's not better. You know what I mean? I just like it better. Probably because of the firm joint and all that shit.
You know, I heard Nas say that he's tired of, you know, everybody, you know, always labeling him with the Illmatic greatness instead of the greatness from, you know, a lot of his work. You feel me? I'm gonna keep it real with you. Illmatic was outstanding. It's a masterpiece of hip hop art, but it was written was more it was more gritty. It was more gritty. It was more grown. It was more dirty. It was just. And then I heard somebody say something the other day. I can't remember if it was a comment or I heard somebody say this, but somebody said something about Nas wanted to live the street life, so he wanted to be a thug, so his other albums wasn't as great as Illmatic. I was like, yo, bro, I completely disagree with that. You understand what I'm saying? Nas grew up in one of the wildest projects in New York, Queensbridge. You feel me? Son was surrounded by nothing but wild niggas and hood niggas. You feel what I'm saying? And it was written was just a look into the real street life side of the game. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not that he was trying to live a certain life. Is that he was painting a vivid picture of what was going on in those days and times, because in those days and in those years, like, it was a lot of crazy stuff going on in New York. A lot of people in New York was getting into a lot of big things. You feel me? So it was written was outstanding. You feel me? It was written was just like a part 2 to Illmatic for me. Like, it was just like a follow-up album to Illmatic to me, and it was just crazy. One of my favorite joints on that joint is Shootouts. You heard? Love that joint.
The shit about the cop and shit.
Shootouts, yup, similar to Wild West, Broad Daylight, love it.
Yeah, love it. There's so many good songs on there. I mean, I think that shit people be saying is fake though. I mean, not fake, it's fraudulent. Because let's say, okay, he didn't do the shit and he's rapping jungle life or whatever, but he is looking out. I mean, he is looking out the window. That's what he knows. So like, what should he be rapping about instead? Like what would they have him like in Illmatic? What would they have him rapping about? Like going to the library or some shit?
That's a big misconception about Nas. Like, Nas made a song called Out My Project Window and stuff like that. So a lot of people think that he means he observed everything out.
Yeah, but we talk about haters, Nas. I mean, Laz, I know it wasn't, but you know, what would they have him rap about?
Yeah, but haters they need to be educated, because you understand what I'm saying? Like, Nas was in the streets. Nas got a brother that was in the streets. You feel me? Nas' whole team and everybody he grew up with was in the streets. You feel what I'm saying? He just escaped the streets because he was talented. You feel me? And I gotta make that known, because, you know, dudes always think that about a talented artist. Like, oh, he's talented. He wasn't really in the streets like that. That's not true at all. Like, I mean, he ain't have a choice but to be in the streets. You feel me? I ain't have a choice but to be in the streets, even though I was a talented dude. You feel what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that dude Nas, he put together a lot of hip hop poetry, man. I'm a big fan of Nas. You feel me? My music was heavily influenced by Son. You feel me? So him winning the Grammy, I ain't really been paying attention to the Grammys too much, because, like dude say, it is a racist ass institution. You feel me? It is a superly racist ass institution that we got to always fight and beef. It just so happens they want to give dudes a Grammy this year while everybody was protesting and beefing about the racial inequality. Now they want to give 5 black dudes a Grammy. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So,
but it seemed like they was trying to do the safe choice though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it's corny to me, man. That's corny to me, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, that's why, you know, black people got to stop trying to fight for, you understand? They fight for stuff that
white people too. You said you ain't see it, but like the chick Billie Eilish, she won that either album of the year, best female album, and she like apologized to Megan Thee Stallion, like she don't deserve this shit, and like maybe she do or maybe she don't, but that don't be what she need to be thinking about. Megan Thee Stallion don't need Billie Eilish to come save her.
Yeah, but you know, it does take a certain level of white people out there, they sick and tired of the privilege shit. They sick and tired of.
But see, Laz, I think they only want to help with Hollywood and music shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, all right, like, let's talk about Me Too. It's just probably safer for actresses, but it ain't safer for regular chicks. And okay, great, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, great. Now it's gonna be more inclusive for superstar black women. But you know, Billie Eilish want to help black women. I don't know if the place to start is at the Grammys.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's crazy, but when something happens with celebrities on a celebrity platform, that's when people know about it. You understand? So that is the little thing that people that have celebrity power or in the music business, that is the thing they could do to give back. They could use that voice to bring awareness to certain things. You feel what I'm saying?
Or she could donate money she donates to children in other countries to music programs in American schools. How much better would a young Laz's life have been if there had been a recording studio in your high school?
Yeah, man. I've had ideas myself. I got a non-profit idea where I wanna be able to find talent in the hood and just have funding to push their entire career past recording studios to features with major artists on major platforms, things of that nature, if they're worthy of it. You feel me? If it's truly an artist in the hood that's out there struggling in the game, like I want to be able to, that's what I would do even without a charity. If I had a bunch of money, if I hear artists that their shit is sensational and they're really dropping music that's that really has some type of power to move something in the game, and I don't have to know them, I'll help them out. You feel what I'm saying? Because not only do I have an obligation to my people, I have an obligation to the culture of hip hop in general. Like a lot of these rappers, they get rich, they don't feel like they have an obligation to the culture in general. But without this culture, they wouldn't be rich. You understand? So
yeah,
they should always feel obligated to discover and put forth to the world artists that have the ability to make a change for the better. You don't have to be friends with them. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to be cool with them. You don't have to hang out with them or take pictures with them. You could just reach out to them and say, yo, I see what you're doing. And, you know, I got a bunch of money. I got millions and millions of dollars. You could break a dude in the hood, break into the game with $25,000, $35,000, $50,000 to break him into the game, turn him into a superstar. He get $1 million deal, give you that 50,000 back, chips with dip, with interest. You understand what I'm saying? And then boom. Now I mean, you just made an ally for life. That motherfucker's always going to be an ally, whether you fuck with them or not, whether you hang out with them or not. They're going to be an ally for life, and they're going to look out. And when you on your way down and they up, they're going to help you back up. So that's just some of the unwritten rules of the game. But nobody plays by these rules no more. You feel me?
Damn, bro, that's kind of like, you know, taking it back to Nas. That's like you know, him dropping jewels on Shorty. But you know, like I still want to talk about Nas a little bit more though. You remember that Queensbridge Finest album?
Yeah, I don't think I ever heard the entire album because I was locked up. I might have been locked up for a minute when that came out, when it dropped. I'm not sure. But I remember that project and it was definitely historic.
Did you like The Firm better with Cormega and Nature?
I mean, The Firm was fire. The Firm was fire. I mean, like, authorized members, unauthorized members, everybody was fire. Half a Mil was my favorite artist out of The Firm. AZ, him and AZ both was my favorite artists. Foxy Brown, Cormega, Nature, every one of them was fire. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what The Firm was about. The Firm was putting together some of the greatest lyricists on one team to make a team that would be cheese. You heard? I mean, The Firm was cheese. They had nothing but heavy hitting rappers. Everybody on The Firm spit deadly. You heard? So that's how you do it. That's how you do it. If you want to lock down take a whole monopoly of the whole game over, unite the craziest lyricists and y'all put together that team. And even if y'all don't fuck with each other like that, y'all still put that music out there like that. You heard?
Right. So what's the last Nas album that you listened to like that? Like for me, it'd probably be Street's Disciple.
The last album I could say that I actually sat down and listened to the entire album probably was Stillmatic, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Because
really,
like
Street's Disciple came out after that.
Yeah, once I got knee deep in the rap, you know, I was so concentrated on my stuff that I ain't really have time to sit down and hit albums in the head like that. But I've heard Nas, all Nas albums now. And as far as like sat down and really listened to them and soaked them up crazy, I probably was like running around in the streets and doing too much crazy stuff to actually have time to sit down to certain of his latest releases. But Stillmatic was like, I remember when he dropped Stillmatic, I was wondering, like, could this dude drop an album that's outstanding again like that? And when I heard that album, I was like, this dude, every album he dropped is just crazy. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Crazy, crazy. So it's like, the last few albums Nas dropped, I can't say I really got a chance to internalize. It's like AZ, bro. AZ is one of my favorite rappers, but he got so many albums.
Yeah, like the Motown Jones, it's like 6 of them. They're all great, you know?
He got so many
I mean,
albums.
Nature got like 4 albums, like Sony Jones, you know what I'm saying? It would be hard to, I mean, that's what happened to me with rap in general, Laz. Like, it used to be able to, like, you could listen to everybody's whole shit, but that shit just got to be impossible.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I heard Diddy say that, bro. He said, he was like, yo, there's so much music out there that literally you couldn't listen to all of this music in one lifetime.
Yeah.
It's too much music. So when the game started becoming saturated, and then stuff started changing, the internet started changing. When the internet came out and playlists and clickable playlists came out and iPods came out, it changed the way we did everything. Because when
even before that, bro, mixtapes, you know, people pressing their own CDs, man, changed shit too.
Word up.
Man, you had all that shit together, and now a motherfucker can't keep up. You know, I'm a white motherfucker. You know, white people like to collect shit. I used to be like, oh, I got every jump he did, everything. That shit just became impossible and shit. You feel me?
Word up, my bro. But like, think about it. When iPods came out, I had the first iPod that ever came out. You heard? You remember
that? They didn't have no number. It was just an iPod.
I loved it. The big fat joint pause. The shit got white and dirty. The shit was dirty as hell. You had to clean it with alcohol. Like, I had that shit. I'm pissed off, I swear, because I lost that shit on it. I lost that shit with like 200 beats on it from my son Venom. You heard my nigga Venom from Polo Grounds. Son that hit me with a crazy, stupid stash of beats. I had all of them shits on there, like 200 unreleased Pottersville songs. All of that shit got lost on that shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but when iPods came out and people could circulate tracks and move them up and down,
yeah,
our albums started having a hard time.
No bullshit. So I want to get out here with this on the Nas shit. You know, if those, I mean, it's like, you know, quote Pusha T, if you know, you know. But that Clue run in like 90, you know, like the Cluminati, Clue for President, all them Jones would have all them unreleased Nas and Mobb Deep songs and shit like that. Shit, even sometimes like Lakey the Kid and, you know, infamous Twins, Gambino, all that shit. Man, what was? I guess she was already locked up, but you were still locked up with New York people. What was the reaction to the whole Clue phenomena? You know, specifically, you know, Mobb Deep and Nas.
I remember when a catalog came out, and eventually this catalog started coming into jail that lets you order mixtapes that was in the streets. Like, you might get them a little bit like a month or two later, something like that. But to a dude in jail, that was okay. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, like, I remember when that catalog hit the state penitentiary. I remember when that catalog hit the state pen, and dudes started ordering the mixtapes. And when the mixtapes started getting into jail, it was a wrap. People felt like they was, you know, more connected to the streets, more connected to the hood again. You feel me? Like, so we started getting them clues. The same, my son shouted out that I was talking about the Mobb Deep tape with. Me and him used to spin the dorm listening to those classic Clue tapes. That's the first time I heard Reservoir Dogs, and the first time I heard Niggas Done Started Something. The first time I ever heard DMX, it was all on those Clue tapes. Then there was another DJ out of Jersey named DJ Juice. Know what I mean? Son, I loved that nigga shit. That nigga was one of the greatest DJs on the planet Earth. I had all his tapes. This nigga named DJ Juice. And I used to be getting my hands. I used to be listening to doo-wop. You heard S&S. We used to be getting our hands in on all of that shit. Shout out to doo-wop. Shout out to S&S. You heard? I used to be getting all.
Hey, your man Bobbito. You must have been listening to Bobbito.
But when I was up north, it was impossible to listen to Stretch and Bob. You heard? Gotcha. But when I came home from the can, the nigga Stretch and Bob had at that time went their separate ways or whatever. And Stretch still had a show on Hot 97. It came on at 10 o'clock on Sundays. You heard? And that shit, either 9 or 10 o'clock. I think it was 10 o'clock. I mean, but Stretch Armstrong is now in your world. You heard? He had the fucking hottest show on the radio. That's all we cared about. We ain't even listen to Hot 97 like that. We just listened to Stretch Armstrong on Sunday nights because we knew he was gonna play that Killer Shy, rest in peace. That's my bro, Killer Shy. He was gonna play that Major Figures, that Gilly the Kid. You heard he was gonna play that damn man, hold on. I don't wanna forget certain niggas.
Teflon.
He was playing that he was playing that Tef. He was playing that motherfucking exclusive MOP. He was playing that everything, man, everything. I'm trying to think of some name from Philly that I was just talking about the other day. That
Dutch and Spade.
Nah, Dutch and Spade too. They was Major Figures. He was playing them niggas. But some name from Philly, man.
Murder Mill.
My son, it'll come back to me, man. It'll come back to me.
Mike Knox?
Nah, man. Son that had that joint. I don't like to say that line because it's mad. I can't say that line because it's mad offensive. But Pretty Ugly. That's my nigga. Pretty Ugly. You heard? Son was fucking sick with he from Philly. Stretch Armstrong used to play. Stretch Armstrong used to play that PU every Sunday. Me and my niggas be like, yo, I gotta hear that dude Pretty Ugly, my nigga. You understand? That nigga Pretty Ugly was fire. He from Philly. You heard? Son used to be killing shit. But yeah, man, Stretch Armstrong. When Stretch Armstrong got took over Hot 97, he was tight. He was playing that $500,000. That's when I first heard that Some Niggas Blood and Some Niggas Crip. I heard that on Stretch Armstrong. You heard? Well, it might have been Clue. It might have been Clue. So I was listening to both Stretch and Clue, but you understand what I'm saying? I definitely heard that $500,000 on Stretch before too, though.
And we was listening to Nonchalant and Steph Lover.
You said Nonchalant? You talking about the rapper Nonchalant?
Yeah.
I love that joint. 5 o'clock in the morning joint. I love it. Yeah. I love that beat. I love everything. That's that real hip hop vintage shit. But that whole swagger, that whole track is fire. That 5 o'clock in the morning, where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. You better get yourself together. That shit was blazing.
Yeah. They don't even make no don't sell drugs music no more.
That shit was a blazer. That's what rap was fire when when that shit was educating the streets and it was like rappers was above the streets. You heard? When you was a rapper, you was above that street shit. You heard? So even the street niggas had to pay attention to what you was saying. Like now, all the rappers looking up to and sucking off the street niggas. Back in them times, the street niggas
I disagree though, bro. You really think so? Because I feel like it's more like they in tune with junkies.
What I'm saying is like all rappers, like even labels and everything, niggas want to sign niggas that's supposedly real street niggas and all of that good shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like niggas be signing disposable rappers that get killed in 2 years, then they make another 2 years of profit off their music, then they move on to the next nigga that's gonna die. You feel what I'm saying? So it's
you're right about that.
Yeah, everybody praising that street shit now. You feel what I'm saying? Like back in our days, I mean, I sound like an old man when I say that. Back in our days, you understand? That shit niggas was street. That's the crazy shit about it. Niggas was street niggas still trying.
They didn't want people to like even Nelly, you know, like they say. I remember that. I'll never forget on that. It's either Beef or the Rewind DVD. They asked Beanie Siegel who was the hardest person he met in rapping. He said Nelly.
Let me tell you, St. Louis is. If you from St. Louis, my nigga, that shit is one of the most violent, war-torn cities in America. You heard like the hood gang thug shooting murder game out there. That shit different. Niggas don't know. St. Louis, that shit different. Like niggas be saying, Chicago is the wildest place. Let me tell you something. Those numbers is based on the size of the land. You got spots like St. Louis that's this big, and them niggas is doing 3 times as many murders in that city. But it's so small, the numbers don't stack up to nothing, so you won't hear about it. But spots like Newark, St. Louis, they little spots on the map. Them shits is outrageous. Baltimore, Maryland. Literally, I read this book where they was like Baltimore, Maryland. They do more homicides than all active war platoons. Whatever active war platoons are out there in Afghanistan and whatever they at, they do more homicides, more bodies drop in Baltimore, Maryland than all active army platoons that's out there.
Yeah, bro. I mean, without getting all into it, you know, I mean, I spent mad time in Baltimore. Motherfuckers don't care about life. I mean, it gets to a point where there's no reason to care about it. You know what I mean? Beyond like in the moment. But shit, I ain't trying to end that shit. Congratulations, Nas, on the Grammy. I love Nas' career, from the Clue tapes to the Main Source to now to motherfucking whatever them commercials he got. I forgot if it's Hennessy or Johnny Walker. I be hearing his voices on commercials all the time. I think that shit is dope as shit. And, you know, whether a Grammy means nothing or not, at least it means one of our favorite artists who we grew up on is going to get some extra money, and that's always got to be a good thing. So thank you for your time, brother. And it's been the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network.
Already Snow Buddy. What we do?